Alright guys, let's get started. I'm so excited about the Forbidden Sanctum, the brand new Path of Exile League. So here's my thoughts on it. This is literally live on Twitch. This is
Many have
first
met their
reactions.
fate here in the shade of Fell Shrine. So step lightly. But here you are bound by new rules. My rules.
Okay, any new skills? Here we've got some tornado shot. So looking at the top right, we see that there is like a quest. We gotta find the exit and defeat guards. Okay.
To wound you,
Oh, there's a boss on each
a
one
curse
too,
to
maybe.
spite you.
Monster has 30% increased maximum life. Okay.
But do not give up, for vast riches await the bold.
Offer. Yeah, unfortunately, we're watching this on Twitch. No pausing to check out everything. Otherwise, we'll miss out on the live content
And
here.
one day you may uncover its secrets.
So looking like how it's oriented, you're gonna want a lot of mobility. New skills, this is what I want to see. Ooh, is that a melee skill? Huh. It's like a variant of like lightning strike, kind of looks like. But it's like a one beam, but it's probably a fire ability. Ruthless mode, okay, we'll try that out. That's the hard mode. I'm really interested in seeing these. They'll probably get posted over on Reddit. Oh, we don't get to see the effects? Ooh, okay. Hopefully there's some new bosses to defeat, because that's what I like to do in a brand new league. Okay, so December 9th is when it actually starts, but let's check out the rest of the content, because there's still more here. Because it's going to go in depth here. It's usually like 40-ish minutes. Then they do some like Q&A, which we'll skip out on. Because I just want to go over like my thoughts on the league and give you guys my reaction to it. Alright, so that's when it's coming out. So far, I haven't decided what build to play, but I think you're going to want to have a lot of mobility, considering there's like lasers, there's a lot of exploding things on the ground. Okay, so the Sanctum Challenge.
Sanctum is an old Templar enclave, long rumored to be hidden beneath the Fell Shrine ruins. Abandoned for a long time, it is now controlled by a malevolent entity. In this league, you'll explore it, find out its secrets, and deal with the evil that lurks there. The Sanctum Challenge League is a roguelike game, played out one room at a time as you explore Rayclast and the Atlas in Path of Exile. In every area or map you enter, you can make a choice of which room in the Sanctum you will explore next. On the Sanctum map, you can see the contents of a few rooms ahead, enabling you to plot a path through its dangerous halls. And the Sanctum is dangerous. Like most roguelikes, you should not expect to be able to complete it on your first try. Getting to the deeper floors requires experience, knowledge, and luck. You should expect for your early attempts
luck?
to fail, but over time, you'll be able to push yourself farther and farther. As you progress deeper into the Sanctum, you'll find a variety of treasures that will help you eventually fight your way to the dangers that await you at the end of its 4 floors. Eventually, by endgame, you may be able to push through all 4 floors to face the final boss. Every roguelike needs a resource to help you track how well the run is going. In the Forbidden Sanctum, it is your resolve, indicated by this bar here. As you explore the Sanctum, your resolve is threatened by the dangers within. When you lose all of your resolve, your Sanctum run ends.
Oh, okay, so it's like a separate bar of
Your level of
HP.
resolve is maintained between consecutive rooms on your run, but is only shown when you're in the Sanctum itself.
So like
The resolve
evade is
mechanic
superior,
applies
right?
equally to all build archetypes. Your resolve is reduced when you are hit by monsters or environmental hazards in the Sanctum, and these
Just go
telegraphed
evade.
attacks are not affected by regular Path of Exile defensive mechanics, such as evasion, armor,
Oh.
or block.
Okay,
While
never
these
mind.
attacks do some nominal damage to your regular life, the bulk of their impact is against your resolve. This mechanic provides a mechanism for tracking your progress between rooms, where your regular life pool would long ago have been recovered. Another aspect of the resolve system is that characters who are struggling can be ejected from the Sanctum without actually having to die, avoiding experience loss or hardcore death. So maintaining a healthy level of resolve is key as you navigate the Sanctum.
So
And that
evade
means
doesn't
making
matter.
careful choices of what rooms you enter.
You
Let's
actually
have a
want
look at some
to
of the things
physically
that Sanctum
dodge the
rooms
thing.
contain.
Okay, so high mobility, 100%,
Affliction
move
rooms
speed.
cause you to gain an affliction when you enter them. Afflictions make your Sanctum run more difficult. For example, reducing your resolve recovery, causing rewards to become hidden on the Sanctum map, or causing Sanctum rooms to spawn volatile anomalies that follow you. These minor afflictions accumulate as you get deeper and deeper into a run, making it more challenging. Major afflictions exist and are a big deal. They have significant consequences, such as entirely preventing the recovery of resolve. So, a Sanctum run gets harder and harder as you pick up more afflictions. Sounds great, but every roguelike needs a way for you to gain power throughout your run. In the Forbidden Sanctum, that system is boons. Boons are beneficial buffs that help you as you progress through the Sanctum. Minor boons make things a little easier, such as slowing down monsters or adding a special shield to your resolve called Inspiration. Major boons don't come along often, but have large effects such as preventing you from receiving more minor afflictions, or recovering your resolve to 50% the next time you run out. Due to the vast variety of afflictions and boons, no two runs are the same. Generally speaking, your best Sanctum runs are the ones where the afflictions you choose have little effect on you, and the boons either counteract them or have a large benefit for the strategy you're running. Some rooms in the Sanctum contain a fountain which will restore some of your lost resolve.
Okay,
Others
this is
contain
cool.
afflicted fountains that restore even more resolve at a cost. Rooms with a treasure reward contain chests full of the Templar Aureus currency, a type of gold coin they used for commerce within their Sanctum. You'll also find some Aureus coins from monsters that you kill as you explore. These are picked up automatically, like Azurite, and are not tradable, and like your afflictions and boons, are lost when your Sanctum run ends.
Okay.
Some rooms contain a merchant who accepts your Aureus coins in exchange for boons. Plan your purchases carefully, as you may encounter the merchant again later on with even more expensive boons to purchase. Occasionally, the sinister powers controlling the Sanctum will present you with the choice of making an accursed pact. You are given several pacts to choose from, and can even opt to take all that you are offered. All pacts have a big upside and a big downside, such as exchanging a portion of your maximum resolve for a random major boon. It's very dangerous to make a pact, but if you pick the right circumstances, your gamble could pay off. In addition to rewards that help you progress through the Sanctum, many rooms let you immediately receive Path of Exile currency items, but with a twist. Whenever you're offered some currency items that you can receive right away, you are also offered a more valuable option that will be waiting for you after the boss fight at the end of the current floor of the Sanctum. It's a gamble, because if you fail your run before you reach and defeat the boss,
I
you
like
will not
this.
receive the reward.
This
you
is
picked.
good.
Later on, you're offered the extreme temptation of getting a massive currency reward that is conditional on completing your entire Sanctum run without failing. At a specific point in the Forbidden Sanctum storyline, you'll discover a special altar that Templar relics can be placed on. These relics directly affect your Sanctum runs and are not lost when a run ends. They persist throughout the League as a
So is it
permanent
like a
source
charm?
of meta progression. Acquiring new and better relics is one of the ways you can push farther and farther with each run you try.
Oh, it's like a charm
Relics cannot
inventory.
be crafted and cannot be traded, as they
Oh, you
represent
can't
your
trade them.
personal progression throughout the League. You'll accumulate more than you can use simultaneously, so you'll have options to fine-tune
And you
your
unlock,
strategy
like,
from
a
run to run. You
bigger
can store your extra
grid.
relics in the relic locker. It's
kinda like last Epoch.
like the expedition locker.
Okay.
We don't
That's
want
cool.
to spoil important story details, but the end
Get it.
boss of the Forbidden
Additional
Sanctum can drop unique
instructions
items from
for
a
half your
pool
chaos?
exclusive to this league. Today we'd like to show you a unique amulet
okay.
called Eternal Damnation. This amulet offers a powerful way to gain additional elemental mitigation by introducing the concept of elemental damage reduction. Despite the drawback of reducing your maximum resistances, if you have sufficient chaos resistance, this is more than compensated for. Because of the roguelike nature of the Forbidden Sanctum, defeating the boss of a floor is a difficult achievement and hence rewards a lot of experience. You may fail on the way, so if you do manage it, expect a good experience boost for your achievement.
But when you die, you don't lose XP, right?
Another
'Cause you
reward
just get kicked
you can
out.
find is a special type of relic called a
Or you lose
Sanctified
your-
relic that has mods that
the other
directly
bar.
affect your character's build. You can only unlock one slot for this type of relic, and while these relics can't be crafted through conventional means, you may find special reward rooms in the Sanctum that can modify them. These relics
cool.
exist for this league only and provide a boost to character power for players who are able to master the Sanctum.
Awesome.
The Sanctum League offers a roguelike experience that tempts you into taking risks and rewards you if those pay off. There's a lot to explore in the Sanctum, and we can't wait to hear about your experiences next week. In each expansion leading up to Path of Exile 2's release, we're improving Path of Exile's endgame, with new content to explore and improvements to how you customize your endgame experience. In the Forbidden Sanctum expansion, we're revamping the Atlas tree, reworking how Eldritch altars function, and are introducing 2 new Atlas memories. The Atlas tree is generally working really well, but has a few problems we'd like to address. The tree offers you the ability to specialize in killing pinnacle bosses, providing extra rewards when you do so. While this sounds good on paper, it creates a situation where you're incentivized to specialize your tree for regular mapping, save up all of your boss fights, then respec fully into boss mode, and then do all of your saved up boss fights before speccing back again. Ideally, the design of the Atlas tree would let you spec into one build and then just play the game. We have removed all boss bonuses from the Atlas tree, and have baked some of them into the actual base properties of the boss fights. For example, you don't need to allocate the Gaze into the Abyss notable that makes the Elder more likely to drop a Watcher's Eye, as he just has that drop chance built in now.
Oh, nice.
The Atlas tree is now focused on allowing you to specialize into content that you encounter in every map. We also want you to be able to specialize into your favorite leagues even more deeply on the Atlas tree.
Okay.
For each of the 10 leagues that the tree lets you disable, we've added a bunch more passives to the tree. These new passives allow you to increase the league's spawn chance to much higher levels than currently possible, and juice the league even further than before. We are making a number of changes to Eldritch Altars that mostly affect their rewards, but will also affect gameplay decisions you make involving them. Some of the key changes include splitting up the basic currency, Scarab, and Divination card rewards to be explicit in their description of what rewards you'll get. For example, instead of map bosses dropping 3 unknown basic currency items, the altar specifically says which currency item they'll drop.
I like this change.
As part
This
of
is
this
great.
change, we've removed some of the lower value yet quite common currency rewards from the pool, such
like
as
the
Orbs
gem
of
one.
Augmentation and Orbs of Transmutation.
Okay, that's a good
Speaking of
change.
Scarabs, these will be less available from altars, but we've improved their availability elsewhere to offset this. Rusted Scarabs can now drop from the core drop pool, and we've added a vendor recipe that allows you to upgrade your Scarabs up to Gilded using the normal 3:1 ratio. You can also perform this action from your Fragment tab using the new upgrade button. We have made reward types exclusive to different influences, so that you know which influence type to invest in if you want to target farm a certain reward. To give you a specific example, if you run maps influenced by, say, Eater of Worlds, you'll see Divine Orbs from the basic currency reward more than twice as often as before. We've also rebalanced rewards so that choices that affect boss drops or influence monster drops are comparatively more valuable. The Wrath of the Cosmos keystone has been reworked. Previously, it was so rewarding that players felt obligated to use it despite its extreme level of difficulty. It has retained the risk versus reward element, but with the overall intensity toned down. You can now also get awakened gems from defeating Maven Witness map bosses. This additional
I like
reward
this
helps
change.
further balance the expected returns from the various types of influence. For more detail on these changes, check out the Balance Manifesto we posted last week, or the upcoming patch notes.
Hopefully this will make
In the Lake of
Awaken
Calandra expansion,
Multi-Strike
we introduced
cheaper.
Atlas Memories. When applied to your Atlas, they unlock a sequence of maps that tells the story of an NPC's past. These stories manifest as specialized encounters that involve a new challenge and exciting rewards. In this expansion, we've introduced 2 new Atlas Memories, describing events related to Beastry and Domination. The Beastry memory line allows you to capture harvest monsters as beasts for your menagerie. These harvest beasts can be used in 9 new beast crafting recipes. These recipes cover an array of options. For example, you can remove one of the special modifiers from a Watcher's Eye Jewel and then add another. This can have potent
Ooh.
results, but won't affect the life, mana, or energy shield modifiers.
Oh, that's fine. That's
You
not
can
that big a
re-roll
deal.
an awakened gem from one type to another.
Which is a completely random one?
Another example is that you can also re-roll a synthesis implicit modifier. If your item has more than one synthesis implicit, it will randomly re-roll one of them. The
That's
Domination
cool.
Atlas memory thrusts you into a tale of pantheon gods that stand watch over their shrines. Like regular shrines, these are guarded by monsters and emit a buff that empowers the monsters until you claim that buff for yourself. This Atlas memory introduces a new set of shrines with specialized buffs, guarded by rare monsters that drop tantalizing rewards. The Forbidden
Ooh.
Sanctum expansion introduces a new type of shard that can drop from Harbingers, Fracturing Shards. When combined together into a full currency item, you get the Fracturing Orb, which behaves the same as the Fracturing Craft from Harvest. It can be used on any rare item with at least 4 modifiers. When the orb is applied, it locks one of the modifiers in place so that further crafting efforts do not affect that modifier. Items fractured in this way can only have 1 fractured modifier. Previously, this crafting option was gated behind the Oshabi fight in Harvest. Now that it has been rehomed to Harbinger, the Harvest crafting option is no longer available. This means that you'll be able to use your Harvest Life Force and Oshabi kills on other crafts. Because Fracturing Shards drop from Harbingers, you'll be able to target farm them by speccing into Harbinger content on your Atlas tree. The Forbidden Sanctum expansion introduces a number of new skill gems. In addition to some new melee Val skills we'll discuss later in the livestream, there are 2 totally new skills that we'd like to unveil
Ooh,
today.
this is what I'm all
Volcanic
about.
Fissure is a new fiery slam skill that can be used with staves, maces, axes, and unarmed attacks. Strike the ground to create a chasm that winds towards your target. This chasm can path around corners before erupting as the fissure gets as close as it can reach. It releases a burst of fiery projectiles that explode on striking the ground. Enemies hit by multiple impacts will take a lot of stacked damage. Use it up close for reliable bursts of damage, or aim far away to damage.
I'm guessing those
larger
little
areas.
balls have like overlap
Legion
damage
is an
too.
unusual spell, summoning a ring of icy statues that
That
attack
looks
with your
cool.
own weapon damage. The skill has multiple cooldown stacks and consumes all cooldown uses at once to summon a statue for each available cooldown. The statues perform a sweeping ice slash, and these sweeps can overlap, resulting in multiple hits against targets close to you. The spell can be used with staves, maces, and axes. The skill is particularly powerful with slow, heavy weapons, as while the statues will use your attack speed, you should instead prioritize the spell's own cast time and cooldown. This expansion also introduces many new Val melee skills. As you know, equipping a Val skill gem grants you both the Val and regular version of the skill. As you kill enemies, the gem charges up with their souls, and after a certain number are collected, the Val skill can be used once. Most of the new Val skills introduced in this expansion are melee skills, and this results in an indirect buff to any melee builds that use one of these skills. Where previously you'd just be using your melee skill to kill enemies, you now get to periodically use a super-powered version of the skill. If you like Flicker Strike, you'll love Val Flicker Strike, as it really dials up the concept of letting fate take the wheel. Val Flicker Strike causes you to flicker dozens of extra times, slashing enemies. During this time, you don't deal any damage to the enemies you slash. You're quite vulnerable due to not leeching or generating fortify stacks. When you finish flickering, if you survived of course, you'll be rewarded with a single huge hit of damage against each enemy you slashed.
It's like exploding palm with
Val
like
Cleave
the
is
owl.
a
That's
new
kind of
Val
cool.
skill that buffs the behavior of its non-Val version, in a similar way to how Val Reeve works. Val Cleave triggers 2 buffs, one when you kill a rare enemy, and one when you kill either a rare or unique enemy. The latter is a strong buff to regular cleave, which you can keep up almost permanently if you're able to kill rare or unique enemies often enough. The bonus for killing a rare enemy is that you get to steal its mods for a time. You can enjoy part of the power of having a headhunter without actually needing to find one. Overall, Val Cleave is a pretty powerful upgrade to any melee build that could run cleave. That +2 radius buff is looking pretty good now, right? Don't hurt me. We'll showcase the other new Val skills we're introducing over the coming week.
Oh, because it's not
The
all
Forbidden
of them.
Sanctum expansion introduces over 15 new unique items, from Sanctum exclusive uniques to ones that can be found from Path of Exile's pinnacle bosses. I'd like to show you 3 examples of these, designed by winners of our prior league's boss kill races. Progenesis is a unique amethyst flask that was designed by Ben and drops from the Uber Maven. It's a defensive flask that grants a mini version of the Petrified Blood effect, but without requiring you to be on low life. This is a useful tool to prevent you getting one-shot by large amounts of incoming damage in scary situations. Rational Doctrine is a unique jewel that was designed by Rawlings and drops from Uber Venarius. By manipulating your attributes, you can change how this jewel behaves. While the ideal dream outcome is that you manage to get your strength and intelligence tied for highest, enabling both of the benefits simultaneously, the jewel is still very powerful if it only grants your choice of permanent consecrated ground or permanent profane ground. Entropic Devastation is a pair of unique gloves that were designed by Gucci Pradas and dropped from the Uber Shaper. Currently, the ways to get Spell Impale are very limited. These gloves provide the powerful property of causing all of your spells to impale on crit. So let's talk about unique weapons, specifically endgame unique weapons. In many ways, the weapon is the most iconic and important item on a character, so it's very important that we make them exciting and worthy of their unique status. While some unique weapons have special properties that enable entirely new builds, others are best compared to powerful rare items as a primary source of your character's damage. We have to be very careful when pitching the power level of these unique weapons. If they're not powerful enough, then they're useless and are ignored, but if they're too powerful, then they discourage entire archetypes of characters from trying to find or craft rare weapons. Interestingly, the above problem doesn't apply to belts. Despite Mageblood and Headhunter both existing as extremely powerful unique items, people still craft plenty of rare belts. That's because Mageblood and Headhunter are extremely rare, and people don't actually expect they'll reliably get one in a league. Players tend to treat them as luxury upgrades to their build, rather than something they're certain to get. In this expansion, we're promoting 10 iconic but underused unique weapons to the same tier of rarity as Mageblood and Headhunter. We are buffing them a gigantic amount and are making them incredibly hard to find. Remember when Starforge used to be an exciting item? Well, after this change, it certainly is again. It still drops exclusively from the Shaper and the Uber Shaper, but it'll take a lot of runs or a lot of luck to earn it. Over the next week, we'll reveal the other unique weapons that have been massively buffed. We have targeted around 10 iconic underused unique weapons and have generally buffed only their damage stat, but by a lot.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good amount.
We've made a number of changes to jewels that are covered in a recent balance manifesto, but in case you missed it, we want to quickly summarize what the changes are. In the Forbidden Sanctum expansion, we have made jewels a better source of ailment mitigation by buffing the values of ailment-focused jewel modifiers and adding new modifiers that enable mitigation to a wider variety of ailments than before. We have also removed some ailment mitigation modifiers that were only available on jewels through corruption, because there are now better options through the regular jewel mod pool. This also means that other desirable corruption modifiers, like immunity to corrupting blood, are more likely to roll. We want the moment of finding a unique jewel to be way more exciting than it currently is. We've added a handful of new, very powerful unique jewels and have removed some old, less interesting ones. An example of one of these new unique jewels is Fire Song, which propagates any modifiers to your ignite mitigation to other elemental ailments. If you're able to substantially reduce the duration of ignites on you, then you can use Fire Song to basically shrug off any elemental ailment. For full information about the other changes to unique jewels, check out the Balance Manifesto post we made recently. We've rebalanced curses to make them stronger where they matter most against unique monsters and pinnacle bosses. We have buffed several hex-related unique items and reworked unique items that previously interacted with Doom. To replace the Doomsday Keystone passive, we have brought back a version of an iconic curse-related keystone from the past. We've introduced some powerful new unique items that interact with hexes, which we'll reveal in the lead up to launch. For more details on changes to curses, check out the Balance Manifesto we posted recently, or the patch notes that will come out after the livestream concludes. When we first created the Arch-Nemesis monster mod system, our goal was to improve Path of Exile's outdated set of monster mods with new and interesting mechanics that have modern game balance. We feel that Arch-Nemesis did introduce a lot of interesting mechanics, but it unfortunately had several of its own problems. We have replaced Arch-Nemesis with a system that is more similar to the way monster mods worked in the past. The new monster mods are a lot simpler. They now each do one thing and very clearly state what they do.
Oh, that's
Each
so much
encounter
better,
with a
yeah.
rare monster
This is a
now
good
less
change.
complex,
I
and
talked
it's
about
easier
it
to
in like
understand
the
in heat of combat
previous
compared
video
to
that I dropped on it.
Arch-Nemesis. You'll still encounter challenging combinations of mods from time to time, but this emergent synergy will be rarer than it was under Arch-Nemesis. The goal is that combat is interesting and varied, with moments that get your heart racing, but without the frustrations of the Arch-Nemesis system. Let's talk about rewards. Under Arch-Nemesis, it often felt mandatory to bring in a magic find culling character to kill some monsters for you in order to maximize your rewards. In the new system, we've added a significant pool of new rewards to rares, but the reward that is on the monster is hidden and not associated with a specific mod, so you don't know what kind of rewards you will get until you kill the monster. Rare monsters with more mods are more likely to have these special hidden reward bonuses. To find out more about other balance changes that are taking place in the Forbidden Sanctum, check out the patch notes, which will be available when the livestream ends. Over the last year or so, some of our senior developers have been tinkering with a more challenging way to play Path of Exile. We've been publicly alpha testing this mode, known as Ruthless, for the last month, and are planning to make it available to anyone who's interested alongside the launch of the Forbidden Sanctum next week. Ruthless is an optional additional character flag like Hardcore or Solo Self-Found that completely changes how Path of Exile feels to play. Ruthless is a lot more difficult than regular Path of Exile, but it doesn't achieve this by making the monsters harder to kill. It instead focuses on reducing character power through extreme item scarcity, limited crafting, and many other changes such as support gems being drop only. We've posted an article about the philosophy and rules of Ruthless on pathofexile.com/ruthless. We plan to release this mode alongside the Forbidden Sanctum expansion in a week. In addition to being a character flag like Hardcore or Solo Self-Found, it's also available as a modifier for private leagues. To be clear, the Forbidden Sanctum League content can be played in Ruthless with appropriately balanced rewards. Ruthless is still very experimental during 320, and we won't be afraid to make mid-league balance changes to it during this experimental phase. Ruthless is not for everyone, but so far it has found a supportive and growing group of players who enjoy the additional challenge that it brings. If it sounds like something you're interested in, then try it out next time you're looking for a new way to enjoy Path of Exile.
I won't league starter, but we'll try it. We'll do it
This
hardcore
expansion
solo
also
self-out,
contains a
no
number of small
logouts.
quality of life improvements. Some examples are Divine Vessels can now be used by right-clicking them rather than taking them to Sin.
Okay, that's cool. That's not
On
that
the
big a
player
deal, though.
overhead
But...
life bar, the energy shield bar
Oh,
is
that's
split into a
actually
separate bar.
really
You
nice.
can now right-click and itemize Temple of Atsuatl to see its layout. And most importantly, beast crafting recipes that add mods to flasks now actually say what the mods do.
Oh, okay,
We'll post
cool.
more information about these and other quality of life improvements in the lead up to release. Today we're launching 2 new series of supporter packs.
Oh, let's see
the
them
Forge and Gemlink
skins.
packs. Each tier contains the pack's full face value in points, plus several exclusive microtransactions. These packs will only be available for the duration of the Sanctum Challenge League and will leave the store forever in 3 months. As always, these microtransactions are entirely cosmetic and do not affect your character's progression or power. The Forge series of supporter packs contains 6 exclusive
Pretty
microtransactions.
sweet. Like that skull.
The Clockwork back attachment ramps up as you build a kill streak, building pressure and releasing it when your streak ends.
Okay. Maybe kind of fun with some rampage.
The Delirious hideout decoration lets you summon delirium fog in your hideout at will, complete with strange voices and terrifying apparitions.
Feeling okay? You're looking a little pale. Exile.
The Forge Guard armor set summons a hammer and anvil so that everyone nearby can watch you craft.
Oh.
The ethereal fusing effect turns your item linking attempts into a spectator.
Oh, that's really
If you
cool.
manage to hit a 6 link, people watching are even prompted to send a congratulatory message.
Alright. That's kind of cool. I think that's good visually for
Summoning
like
the
videos and
Crowstorm
stuff.
Portal effect causes a murder
Oh, I
of
like
crows
that
to
one.
erupt from the portal. The portal becomes dormant if you are too far away from it, causing the crows to take to the
That's
skies.
so cool.
The High Templar weapon effect smites the undead you fight and scours the souls of those you put to rest. The Gemlink Pack series also has 6 exclusive microtransactions. The Beehive weapon effect lets your weapon play host to a swarm of angry bees, which erupt from the hive whenever you hit an enemy with the weapon. Critical hits cause the hive to send out its best warriors. The Stampede Quicksilver Flask makes you the leader of your own personal rower herd. Activating the flask causes a host of ghostly rowers to charge alongside you. This is the Gemling Artificer armor set. It is inlaid with gems that match the gems you've socketed in your items.
That's pretty cool.
Crafting gems with gem cutters prisms, Val orbs, or regrading lenses visualizes the process for all to see. This armor set also includes alternate gem level up effects. Prospero's ring blesses you with a constant shower of coins, and it helps you thank players you've traded with through a hearty fist bump. The consuming
That's
ooze
cool.
pit bounces alongside you and devours corpses in your wake, spitting out a tidy pile of bones. Finally, this pack allows you to reunite with Kadiro Perandus, inviting him to your hideout as a vendor. In addition to buying items from you and using his connections to accept your divination cards, he'll provide commentary on your goods, equipment, and anything else he sees fit to judge you for.
That might be a little too much to drink, even for me.
Kadiro has hundreds of lines of voice acting.
What? Oh, a mighty headhunter. I'm so impressed. Try to duck when the brain fragments splatter everywhere. You wouldn't want to sully your armor.
These new packs are available right now at pathofexile.com/purchase. Purchases like these directly fund the ongoing development of Path of Exile 1 and 2, and we really appreciate your support. Meanwhile, the Knight and Rogue packs leave the store forever in 1 week, so now's your last chance to purchase them. The Calandra edition of Kirik's Vault Pass is only available until the end of the Calandra League, and will be replaced with a new set of unique items when the Forbidden Sanctum launches. By the way, we're hoping to film Season 11 of Build of the Week once the Forbidden Sanctum comes out. If you want to submit your build for the season, share your build guide on the class forums on pathofexile.com. Next up, we've got the Q&A with Ziggy D. Once that ends, we'll post the full patch notes for the Forbidden Sanctum. Over the next week, our community team will post the expansion's challenge rewards, information on how to update your item filters, all new and changed gems, and information on how to prepare for launch. On launch weekend, we expect to release the new mystery box, and we'll follow up with the new Kirik's Vault Pass in the days after launch. Thanks for joining us and checking out the Forbidden Sanctum.
Let me give
We
you guys
can't
my
wait to join
thoughts.
you in Raid
I'm just
Blast on
gonna
December 9th.
I'm guessing it's just going to be Q&A, right?
So please get your questions ready in chat.
Okay. So, yeah, I think they're going to do Q&A, and I want to talk a little bit more. So, anyways, what are my thoughts on this brand new league mechanic? I'm super excited about. Why? Because there's a risk and a reward. That's one thing I loved with Ultimatum. They said their Ultimatum was returning in a different way, which I think is a cool way to do it, where it's basically like you have a really good reward, but you have to get all the way to the end, which is like, I guess, the same thing as Ultimatum. And you have that new, like, life force bar, or I forgot what they're officially calling it, but nonetheless, that one gray bar. I wish we could go back, but like I said, we're watching this live for once. I woke up early so we can catch it. But I like that idea of having the bar, and I'm trying to think of what builds would be actually the best, because literally right in the video, I was like, okay, if you take damage, the bar goes down. It's like another form of an HP bar, right? So just, max out and evade, right? And they're like, no, you can't just do that. So I think what will be actually the most successful, I'm not sure if you have minions, if the minions take damage, if that depletes the bar as well, because that's something that I'd have to factor in, because I don't know how it works. Maybe there'll be some sort of post on it. But looking at that, like the gameplay over here, it's going to heavily favor mobility. So I'm thinking rolling like Deadeye, probably Tornado Shot would be very strong. Hitting monsters off screen could be very, very powerful. So I'm probably going to look in that direction in terms of what I decide to build. But there are going to be brand new skills that will be announced as well, because they said there's going to be more Vol Gems. So I'm wondering if they're going to be melee or not. Do the melee skills look very interesting to me? I like that one where you get to summon all the statues, and then it basically has massive overlaps. You get to hit the target like 5 times. But there's a massive buildup. I don't know if you guys saw it, but in terms of the skill, it looks like it has, some sort of cooldown. Is there a way to bypass it? I don't know. I can't see the skill right now. So if that's good, we may make a melee build based off of that. Some of you guys know I love Flicker Strike so much, but the problem with Flicker Strike is that it's very, very expensive and it's not beginner friendly, and on top of that, Awaken Multi-Strike is just so important in that build to actually min-max, and if it becomes a lot easier, maybe we'll think about that. Now, the new Vol Multi-Strike, I forgot, I think that's what they called it, basically it tags all the targets, and then after duration, or maybe you push the button again, and then it does the damage. It's going to be way too slow realistically to be viable. Once you get your build strong enough and you get like Explode via Impulsa or like what is it, Asanas gloves, you could just delete content so fast that like it's just way too slow, and therefore it's not efficient. So I probably won't be playing Flicker Strike, even though it's one of my favorite things and I've played it for like multiple leagues. But I think, yeah, Tornado Shot is looking where I'm going to be going for my build, but I'm curious to know what you guys actually plan to play just based off of the video. But yeah, that's my first impressions and thoughts. I think the league is looking extra good, and again, I like the risk reward of Ultimatum. In terms of like there being new bosses, I'm wondering how challenging they will be. It looks like there was like lasers and stuff, so yeah, you had to dodge, and I'm really excited to just basically make a character that's mostly based off of movement speed, because no matter what, you're getting hit. If you get hit, it's a separate like a thing that factors in. Obviously, you're still going to need to be able to survive more than likely. I'm sure your HP still matters, but that other bar, once that's down, you're knocked out of the little like arena here. So I think it's cool, and it's got like a little like map system. I like it. I'm pretty excited, at least on paper, what the league is. As far as the new skills, I think I would like to see specifically, I think we should get one new like bow / maybe like a claw something for like maybe like Venom Gyre. Basically, I'm looking for like a ranged build, like for attacks. I'm looking for a ranged spell build, and then also a like cast. So that way we cover kind of like all the basis of the new skills, because last league it was basically just like lightning, right? And then this one, it looks like it's more melee oriented. I didn't see any like spells there. There was a pair of gloves that they mentioned. There was a new unique that did show off that you can get like Impale. So there might be more opportunities for different builds with just that item alone. So that would be kind of cool. And there's probably going to be a bunch of new things coming out. So if you guys are brand new here and you guys do want to see the uniques, because usually they get leaked over on PoEDB TW, and I'll cover those when those come out, which I'm really excited about. I was really hoping that when they announced new uniques and they announced Flicker Strike, I was like, Oro's maybe getting a buff, Terminus Aswad to get a buff, but subscribe, turn the bell if you guys want to see more of those when those do get leaked or covered officially via the Twitter. Usually is where they start covering stuff. But anyways, take care, guys. Let me know your thoughts on this new league, and if you're excited to play, I'm super excited to play with this new league mechanic. It's looking like it's going to be fun. Anyways, take care. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.